Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lost in Thoughts. Welcome to Lost in Thoughts if this is your very first video you're clicking on. Today, we're going over my tattoos. I have a decent amount of them, and they all have meanings. So, I just wanted to make a video and make all my tattoos public, I guess. I don't know. I like all my friends, family, well, all my friends, family, some people know the meaning of my tattoos, but not all of them. And before I actually start talking about my tattoos, I want to say getting tattoos, it's not for everybody. Please be responsible. You know, they are permanent. So me getting my tattoos, I don't get a tattoo unless I am 100%, 500% sure that I want it, because it's going to be on you for the rest of your life. So you have to think about it aging. Keep that in mind. Like what you get now, you're gonna have that when you're 80 years old. So I just want to say that because I don't want my tattoos to influence anybody by to make wrong decisions. So just wanted to say that. But now let's just get right into the video. So I think I'm going to explain my tattoos in the order that I got them and tell the story, the pain tolerance, and that kind of stuff. Just the experience of getting the tattoo in general. So my very first one I got when I was 18. My dad actually got it for me for my 18th birthday. And it is one of the most meaningful tattoos that I have ever gotten. It says, "This above all to thine own self be true." It is a quote that I hold near and dear to my heart, like I said. It's from William Shakespeare. I think it's from his Hamlet play. Pretty sure it's from Hamlet. But me and my dad, we were talking about the way this came about. This was actually my dad's tattoo idea. He wanted to get this for himself, but I stole it from him. I was with my dad. We were driving home from doing something together. I think we were coming home from getting our haircuts done or something. And this was when I turned 18, so I was still in high school. I think I was a junior in high school. And we were having one of those heart-to-heart conversations, a father-son conversation. I think it was something with me in high school, me not fitting in high school or something along those lines, because I didn't fit in high school at all. But he was basically just telling me, he actually quoted this quote. He told me, "This above all to thine own self be true." And as soon as I heard him say that, I remember saying, "Wait, what did you just say to me? This above all to thine own self be true." You have to be true to yourself above anything, above all else. You have to be true to yourself. And not only did that stick to me, but it's just what I live by. That quote means so much to me. And immediately, as soon as I heard him say those words, I even told him in that conversation, I said, "Dad, that is going to be my first tattoo." I said, "I don't know how it's going to go or where it's going to go, but that's my first tattoo." And we ended up coming up with the design that it wraps around your forearm. I like that it's not dead center in my arm. It's in an interesting place. It's in a very unique place. Pain tolerance for this tattoo on my forearm, honestly, I don't remember it being painful. I remember it being uncomfortable, and in my arm right here, I remember just laughing because I thought it tickled, right here when I got tattooed. I thought it was I couldn't stop laughing because for whatever reason, I guess it's super sensitive, and I thought it was gonna be painful. I was kind of worried about right here, but it kind of tickled. All tattoos hurt. All tattoos are uncomfortable, but this one was not bad. It's funny because now my dad is actually gonna get the same tattoo that I have, saying the same thing in the same lettering. It's pretty cool. So it's gonna be a cool little tattoo that we have, because it was his quote to begin with. It was William Shakespeare's quote to begin with, but he brought it into my life. So my second tattoo, I believe, was my side. So my side says "protected by God" in Hebrew, because your boy's Jewish. If you didn't know from the schnoz already, yes, I am Jewish. Following "protected by God," it has 13:5, and that's from the Bible. It basically means keep your lives free from the love of money. Be content with what you have, because God has said, "Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you." And that's essentially why it says "protected by God" on my side. I didn't necessarily design it, this is probably the only tattoo that I didn't come up with the idea and the placement myself. I got it when I was heavily into CrossFit. And there's a guy, Rich Froning, I think his name is Rich Froning. He's huge when it comes to CrossFit. He was CrossFit Games top competitor. You know, I followed him pretty heavily, and I saw he has a similar tattoo on his side, like text going up his side, and his is like Goliath or Goliath, I think. I don't know what his says, but it's like the same. It's the same idea as mine. So Rich Froning, thank you for the great idea. A lot of people say getting your side tattooed is the worst area ever. Like a lot of people say across your ribs, so I thought like going down my side would still be very sensitive. I don't remember it being too painful. The only complaint that I had about that whole session while I was getting tattooed was he had me laying on my side, and I had to throw my arm up over my head, and I was laying like this for, I'm going to say like 2.5 hours, because the letters were really thick, so he did the outlining and then he filled it all in. So it took a little bit of time. My arm fell asleep. And you ever have something fall asleep on your body and like you become aware of it being asleep and you don't want to move it, but like you start being aware of it, so like you start feeling the numbness of your... That was happening with my arm, but there was nothing I could do. I couldn't move it anywhere. So I was going like this. But like it was just weird. It was just a very uncomfortable... I felt stuck in a position, and it was just an uncomfortable position. That was all. Pain tolerance wasn't too terrible. I'm not scared to get anything else done on my sides. I'm sure it'll suck in the future, but I don't recall it being anything that I couldn't handle. All right, so my third tattoo I'm gonna say is my chest. Still unsure, side chest. They were done like months apart, like a couple months apart, maybe a month apart. I have the Flower of Life. A lot of people think that this is the Sempiternal album cover for Bring Me the Horizon, which I think is great because it's such a good album. But no, it's just the Flower of Life. It has a lot of meanings. A lot of people can take the Flower of Life different ways. Like I remember looking this up when I was planning on getting that tattoo. I just wanted to be sure of what it meant, and there are so many different meanings, but the one thing I took from it is the way it's made. They're basically just all circles intertwined, and the meaning I take out of it is everything happens for a reason. It may not be the true spiritual meaning of it, but that's my take of it. And that's what it means to me. And I strongly believe that everything happens for a reason. Every obstacle in your life, it molds you into a person. Like everything happens for a reason. I don't know what else to say. Everything does happen for a reason. It's just something that I've always thought. It's something that I truly believe in. So, getting my chest tattooed. That was a hoot. That was a holler. I had a great time. My chest was the most painful tattoo I have ever gotten to this date. It was so bad. I don't know why. I don't know why. Everybody has different sensitive spots. Everybody, takes tattoos. Everyone has like a different pain tolerance. But my chest was so bad. I remember like my chest was one of the very few tattoos that I actually had to stop thinking completely and just focus on breathing because I'd pass out. It was one of those ones where I held my breath every time the needle was in and I would not breathe. It was very difficult for me. So it was like, and I'm really upset because current state of that tattoo, it needs to be touched up. I'm aware it's old, but like just the placement and the way it healed, it needs to be touched up. And I am dreading the day. I also want to add to it. So like I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm just going to have to suck it up and man up and do it one day. But for right now, I like how it is. And yeah, but it was by far 10 out of 10. Horrible pain. Fourth tattoo. What was my fourth tattoo? Oh, my fourth tattoo was me starting my sleeve. With my sleeve, I started with the trees and the path. There was no guy. There was no shrubbery. It also came up to here. So like it didn't go, like right now, let me take off my watch. Right now, my tattoo is dropped to my wrist, but when it first started, it was up here. So it stopped up here. Yeah, so I got the trees and I got the crows, and that was my fourth tattoo. Pain tolerance, Pain tolerance, it wasn't bad. Definitely, it hurt, but for me, the outlining of things are horrible. I would much rather sit through shading than outlining. Two different pain tolerances. If you don't have tattoos, getting an outline of a tattoo, so the outlining is more like taking a butcher knife and just like carving into your skin with a knife, and it's horrible. Whereas shading, to me, it feels like if you take a burning match and you rub it on your skin, that's what it feels like. So it starts off feeling like sunburn, and then it gets worse and worse and worse. Who is calling me? Sorry, Grandma, you're gonna have to wait. So shading, it's more of like a hot sensation than it is a stabbing, carving sensation. To me, I would much rather do that. The outlining of the trees and everything sucked. The top of my arm is less sensitive than the bottom, so that's a thing. So my fourth tattoo was me getting the trees, but I'm gonna save the explanation of the meaning last. Okay, so my fifth tattoo is kind of weird because it's a tattoo that I forget I have, but like the meaning is so sincere and I love it so much. It means, like, this tattoo means the world to me, but I can't see it. So I just sometimes forget I have it, and I see like a glimpse of it in like my videos, for instance, and I'm like, oh shit, that looks so awesome. I love it. I forgot that was there. I got this with my best friend Everett. He actually came down to visit. I think we were going to Warp Tour or something, a music festival. We went somewhere. Me and Everett, we go way back. He is my best friend. He is more than a best friend to me. He is literally a brother to me. And that is why we decided to get this tattoo. We have the same exact one, same placement behind our ear. It's a symbol of what the Vikings used to carve into their shields before going into battle, and it basically means brotherhood. There's nothing else better to explain it. Like, he is the brother I never had, actually. I don't even remember a time where he wasn't there for me or he wasn't in my life. It's weird. But we met online, which is hilarious because a lot of people don't realize that. It definitely was not the normal thing to hear about, oh yeah, no, I met them online. It wasn't really clear to society what online was at the time. And because it was back when we were in 6th grade, so we were pretty young. And it was literally just playing Call of Duty. I met him playing Call of Duty. We had a good game on Invasion, Modern Warfare 2, and we friended each other. And after that, it was like we played Call of Duty every single day after school. Like, we were in the same grade, so we got home from school at the same time. We'd turn on our Xbox 360s at the same time. We would see each other's online, and we would just keep inviting each other, keep party chatting, and then it grew to be this insane thing. For probably like a year and a half, probably a year, we never did anything more than just Call of Duty, invite to a party, and that was it. And we just played Call of Duty all day. Hey, I gotta get off for school. Okay, bye. And then wake up the next day, go to school. It was probably like that for a year. And then I think we traded numbers, and then I think it started, like, we started texting, and then we started Skyping and Uvuing, and then in 2014 we went to the gaming convention PAX East and we met for the first time. And it's just like he has been in my life for as long as I could remember. He is my brother. He is my best friend. He's been there through every struggle I've ever had in my entire life, and he's a brother to me. I love the guy. He's Everett. Like, he's Everett. But it's really funny because before we met in 2014, I moved in to live with my dad, and he always heard me talking about, like, oh, me and Everett are doing this, or yeah, me and Everett. Now I'm always talking about Everett this. Who's my best friend? Everett's my best friend. Like, my dad was like, yo, why? Like, you're always online with Everett. You're always playing games with Everett. Like, why don't you ever invite Everett over for dinner or like have like a sleepover or something like that? I said, Dad, are you serious? Like, he lives states away. Like, what? He lives on an island. What do you mean? At the time, Everett lived on Martha's Vineyard. I was like, he lives on an island. Like, what do you mean? Like, I can't just say, hey, come over. Want to come over for dinner? And it blew my dad's mind. And immediately after that, he was like, we got to get you guys to meet. You've been friends for how many years? And you've got to meet. So we eventually met at in 2014, PAX East. It was such an awesome time. But yeah, so anyway, I just went on a huge story about how me and Everett met. He's a dope guy. He's a dope guy. So interesting. Very interesting tattoo to get behind your ear. Doesn't necessarily, like, I feel like it fades. It definitely fades back here a lot. Just because there's not a lot of skin for the ink to actually cling onto. This was my least painful tattoo. 100% least painful tattoo. If I were, like, people say that tattoos don't hurt or all tattoos hurt. The one behind my ear did not hurt. It was very strange. It was so strange. Because there's not a lot of skin there, the needle still goes just as deep, and it felt so weird. It felt like there was like a mini person with a jackhammer on my skull, and it was just shaking my brain, and I heard everything. I heard the needle hit. It was just, it was weird, but it wasn't painful. It was interesting. It was definitely a weird sensation. Healing process, it's really not in an area where it gets affected by much, so you can do your normal average everyday thing. So the healing process was great too. All my tattoos healed properly except for my hands, which I'll go into later when I get to them. My seventh, am I on 7? My 7th tattoo, I believe, was my second portion of my sleeve. This is where I dropped the trees down to my wrist. I added the guy. We did like some plantation stuff over here, and we colored it. We did the moon, and all that was in one session. This was a very painful session because we did a lot all at once, and we did the color, we did the outlining. It was basically, we tattooed literally everything on my forearm, my entire forearm to my wrist. I'm pretty sure my guy would have kept going. I'm pretty sure he would have done the whole sleeve, but I could not. It was a lot to take from my forearm. The healing process for this was scary for me, being like, this is my biggest tattoo that I've gotten all at once, and my body wasn't ready for it. So I feel like I almost felt like I had the flu afterwards. Like I was very dehydrated. My body was just like forgetting how everything works and just trying to heal my arm. My arm was swollen for, I think, like 2 weeks before like all the swelling went down, but it was swollen for 2 weeks. It was a lot of trauma on my arm, and I just don't think my body was prepared for it because it was the most trauma I've ever done to my body with tattoos. So be aware, if you're getting tattoos done, limit yourself, because, you know, some people want to get tattoos done right away. I understand, but like the healing process and the toll it takes on your body is tremendous, and you don't realize. So yeah, my 8th tattoo, are we on 8? I think we're on 8. My 8th tattoo is on my hand. It is of the rose. This is probably one of my favorite tattoos just because it has so many meanings. This is such a meaningful tattoo. It's a generic rose. It's just an outline of a rose. It's very simple, very plain, very ordinary. But one, it's a rose because it's my favorite flower. But roses also stand for being passionate. And I am such a passionate person. If my heart is set on something, it is set, and I'm just so passionate. So the placement of the tattoo is very meaningful as well, just because it's on my hand. Like, it was before I had my fingers tattooed. It was either when I was 19 or 20 years old. And I got it on my hand because it was the point in my life where I was very undecided on what I wanted to do when it comes to my future. There were a lot of paths that I could take. There were easy paths, there were hard paths, there were just like meh paths. So I put this tattoo on my hand because it got rid of all of those easy, boring, meh paths, and it stuck with the hard one, the one that I was most passionate for, which is making YouTubes, which is being creative, doing something with my art, doing something with, you know, things that I love doing, either whether it being making music, making videos, streaming, being a game designer, being a graphic artist, just all of that. And I got it on my hand, so I couldn't bail. I got it on my hand because after this, there's no turning back. There was no turning back. There is no turning back. I can't be a cop. I can't be a nurse. I can't be a doctor. And that is 100% fine. I don't want to be. But it was an easy path because my dad's a nurse. My sister's going to be a nurse. She's an EMT. Justina is a corrections officer, so it's just like everyone is in that field in my family, and I did not want to do that. So that's why I basically said, listen, you're going to make something of yourself your way or no way at all. So I got it on my hand, and it's very meaningful to me. I'm very passionate with what I do, and yeah, that's it. Also, my sister's middle name is Rose, so I tell her that I got her a tattoo. I got a tattoo for her. The pain from my hand was definitely a lot worse than I thought, but it wasn't bad. Sensitive because it's your hand, but near the knuckle was definitely the most sensitive spot. But all in all, it wasn't bad. Healing process is pretty good. My rose was probably the smoothest when it comes to healing. My ninth tattoo was the third part of my sleeve. I just basically added the astronaut, the T-posed astronaut, some more planets. I'm gonna add more to it. I need to fill up back here and add the color, and then my sleeve will be complete. And the pain tolerance wasn't bad. The only place that really sucked, and I know it's gonna suck getting it filled in and getting it colored, you could have guessed it, this planet sucked. Right here was horrible. It was very tender. It was very, very sensitive. But yeah, other than that, it was pretty good. You know, all back here was perfectly fine. I think right here is like it's like a meaty part of your body, so you know, it doesn't really affect you that much. It still hurts. Trust me, it still hurts, but it's tolerable. Now, for the most recent tattoos, my 10th tattoo session was getting my knuckles done, or my fingers done. I count this as one tattoo because it was done in one session, but Free Soul is one tattoo, and then each knuckle is its own separate tattoo because they're symbols and they mean something different. So I guess I'll explain Free Soul. You don't depend on anybody. It's you're yourself, and you don't need anybody else or anything else to be happy. You are happy with yourself and doing whatever you do in life. You're just, you're just a free soul. So the symbols above Free Soul, they are Nordic runes, and each symbol means something completely different. Except my middle fingers, they're the same symbol. Other than my middle fingers, everything means something different. So the upward arrow on my pinky, it stands for leadership, authority, honor, justice. There's a lot of names, but I got it for the leadership bit just because I am 100% a leader. Like, I don't follow in anybody's path. I'm not going to say I'm a trendsetter or anything, but I definitely do my own thing confident enough where people can follow. So the next symbol on my ring finger is somewhat like an F. It stands for oak, and it basically is the symbol that represents the oak tree in mythology. And if you don't know, if you're not into mythology, if you're not into like spirituality, it represents strength and endurance. It's also the oak tree is tied in with the tree of life, if you guys know what that is. So my middle fingers are exactly the same. It's funny because they're the only bad Nordic rune that I have. That's why they're red. But it's funny because when they healed, instead of the skin healing over, it actually scarred underneath the ink. And now I have scars. Like, there's no red ink in my skin. It's literally just scars. Like, they're scars. Wait. It's a scar. It's crazy. Like, it's a scar. It looks like there's red ink, but it's actually it's a scar. All the red ink crumbled out of my skin. Crazy. It basically means defense and conflict. It means conflict, but it can also be used as defense. And I figured, what better symbol to put on your middle finger? You know? What do you use your middle finger for? To flip people off. And when you're saying fuck you to somebody, you're either defending yourself or you're creating conflict with them. So I feel like, that's why it's on my middle finger. It really doesn't have an in-depth meaning, but that's why it's on both of my middle fingers. This one right here is like it's like almost like a trident, like a pitchfork kind of thing. It means protection. It means shield. I feel like I have had a lot of near-death experiences, and just so far in my 22 years in life, I feel like I have been protected. So this symbol means insight, true vision, inspiration. This one definitely hones into me when it comes to what I want to do in life. I do have a vision of where I want to go. It's the only vision I see for myself, the only future I see myself having. It's me being inspirational to others and myself. I love these tattoos so much. Like, now that I'm like going over them and like looking at them, and they're just so awesome. I love them so much. So the next finger is my ring finger on my left hand. You know, the one that you get married with. When I get married, I'm gonna have a ring on this finger. It's basically the rune that means relationships, partnerships, exchanges, sacrifice. I felt like I know I'm eventually gonna get married, so I don't want to, like, why not get a tattoo that means, you know, what's gonna be on that finger. So that's why I got the X there, and that's it. Nothing really too in depth with that one. It's just relationship. And when you get married, you put a ring on the finger. That's it. This little guy looks like a little flag. He's a cute little bugger, and this one means joy, comfort, pleasure. In life, you just have to, you know, you have to be joyous. You have to find comfort and pleasure. Like, those are like the three things that you want in your life. You want to be happy, you want to be comfortable, and you just want to just this symbol basically means home, because it literally, it's just like all the homey vibes that you get. Like, that's being home. Like, you're happy in your home, you're comfortable in your home. That's why I have it, because I definitely want to have joy in my life. I definitely do things. I definitely sacrifice things to have joy in my life and to be comfortable. And, you know, it's just a happy go-getter symbol. That's all. But yeah, that is that. I feel like I'm missing something. Those are all my finger tattoos. Pain tolerance, pretty bad, actually. I normally have conversations with my tattoo artist when he's tattooing me, just to pass the time. He knows I make YouTube videos. He is, you know, into gaming himself. So like we have game conversations. And while I was getting these fingers tattooed, I couldn't think and talk to my tattoo artist when we were tattooing, like when he was tattooing me, because it was just that painful. But it still wasn't too bad. I made it out alive. Beauty's pain, baby. Beauty's pain. I guess that's all my tattoos. All right, so I'm going to explain to you what my sleeve means. This sleeve is definitely the most meaningful piece in my entire body. Like, I drew it up myself. It's so meaningful. And I guess we're going to get right into it. So, basically, we're going to start from the bottom up. And psych! Nobody knows what my sleeve means except for me. It's great. None of my friends, not even Everett knows. Parents don't know. Nobody. Nada. Not a single soul. Seriously, nobody knows what my sleeve means, and it's so funny. It's great, because it's something that means so much to me personally that I feel like other people aren't going to understand, and I don't really necessarily have to share it with anybody. It means something to me, and that's all that matters. But eventually, when it's done, I may or may not post a video of explaining and going all in depth, because there's different stages that a lot of people don't pick up on, and it's not even done. So yeah, with that said, I believe that's all my tattoos. I believe that's all their meanings, all of the pain tolerances. Again, please, if you don't have a tattoo already, or if you do, just please be responsible when it comes to getting tattoos. It's not something to take lightly. Tattoos are a serious thing, and I made the decisions to take the sacrifices and, you know, get tattoos on my hands, not having a steady job, not having, like, you know what, whatever the case may be. I did those decisions, but that's me. This is my life. I can do what I want. I know it's pretty shitty for me to say, like, oh, that's a bad tattoo, but there are some really bad tattoos, and I'm telling you, like, it's a bad tattoo. Even the person who has the tattoo knows it's a bad tattoo. So just like I said, be responsible, have fun, and yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for tuning into Lost in Thoughts. Now, before I sign off the video, I want you guys to follow me at LIT Podcast on Twitter. I want to see your tattoos. I want to see if they have meanings. I want to see your dope artwork that you decided to get on your body permanently. Tattoos are so interesting to me because People get them for different meanings, whether it has a meaning or whether it's just something that you enjoy seeing on your body. DM me, at me, do whatever. You can also tweet hashtag LIT topics. You can do for a tattoo video or look at my tattoo, hashtag LIT topics, and I'll look at them and yeah. So with that said, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new. I post content every single week. With that said, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. I covered my tattoos, I covered my Twitter. Follow me on Twitch if you're interested in watching me fuck around and draw, because I've done some drawings. Here's a drawing here and here's a drawing here that I've done. Just poopy little sloppy cartoons that I do. And with that said, guys, I will see you guys in next week's video. Goodbye.